Robbie at AFTV. Yeah, just reflecting on the game yesterday. Arsenal 2, Newcastle 0, and the 5 things that I learnt following the game. You know what I mean? It was a very important win for Arsenal. You know, and you know, this season at the moment, considering the start we had, you know, is starting to turn out a lot better than what it seemed it would be right at the start of the season. And games like Newcastle at home and all of our home games are going to be really important to give us a chance of finishing as high as we possibly can. So let me just talk you through the 5 things I learned about yesterday's game. First of all, first point is that Arsenal got a chance of getting into the top 4 this season, which seems absolutely ridiculous after the start of the season. There was people talking about relegation and things like that, which I knew was always ridiculous at the time. And I remember at the time, Edu gave an interview and he was asked, you know, what were the aims of Arsenal? And he was sort of talking about, well, let's just wait and see. And I remember at the time I was a bit upset about that because I was like, come on, Edu, man. The ambition of Arsenal should still be to get into the top 4. It doesn't matter that we've lost our first 3 games at the start of the season. Yes, it's probably going to be unlikely considering the start, but the aim should still be to try and get into the top 4. So now we can see, you know, we're in 5th position. You know, at the time of me doing this video, Man United haven't played yet. They're playing Chelsea. The likelihood of them winning the game, probably you'd say, probably unlikely. West Ham have got Man City, really tough game. Wolves drops points yesterday. So, you know, top 4 is up for grabs this season. It's going to be the best of the rest. That's what it's all about. We know the top 3 teams in Man City, Liverpool, Chelsea. We know that those teams are way better than everybody else, and one of those teams are going to win the league and the other 2 will come in the top 4. There's one spot, in my opinion, up for grabs, and that can be any one of Arsenal, Manchester United, Wolves, West Ham, Tottenham, you know, even Leicester. Any of those teams can get into the top 4 this season, and winning games at home like Newcastle is very important, and we're in 5th place at the moment. So that's what that showed me yesterday. It's important to keep winning games, to keep doing well in this league. I know last week we lost to Liverpool, but top 4 is definitely on. So that's the first thing that I learned about yesterday's game. Second thing I learned is that Saka is our star boy. Saka is an unbelievable talent. We mustn't get used to this guy and just say, oh, it's a Saka. Let's remember how young he is. Let's remember what this kid is doing at his age. An England international, an England regular, a player that Gareth Southgate trusts, a player that Mikel Arteta trusts. And in that game yesterday, for me, he was the man of the match. He was the one who was running at players. He was the one that was, you know, he was our biggest threat in that game. And it was no surprise that he scored the first goal. He was trying to create things, and he was outstanding in the game. And he is an unbelievable talent. And we've got to keep him fit. I'm hoping that he's going to be fit for the game against Manchester United, because I think he will be very, very important in that game. But what a player we've got in Bukayo Saka. And it was so good to see his performance yesterday. Third thing I learned is that Martinelli needs to start more games. He came on yesterday. He scored an absolutely brilliant goal. What a volley that was. The concentration, the skill, the bravery as well. You know, watch that goal back again, right? Like, he's got his eye on the ball, but he doesn't know if the keeper's charging out towards him. He's just focused on that ball and on trying to get that in the back of the net. And he'll take a hit if he's going to get a hit. And it was an unbelievable bit of skill. And then he played really well in the game. You know what I mean? There was a great pass that was put into him by Nuno Tavares. Had his touch been a bit better, maybe that would have come through playing more games. He could have been in again. He was a threat when he came on. Showed a lot more threat than, you know, the other strikers. So Gabriel Martinelli's time's going to come. I saw him doing an interview after the game, and he said, listen, he goes, I'm patient, and, you know, I'm ready for any time that call comes. But I think as the season goes on, I want to see him playing more games. This kid is another one of these super talented young kids that we got in our team, and it was great to see. Fourth thing I learned was that, we're talking of strikers, Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang is off form at the moment. He missed that really easy chance in the game. He just didn't look at it, did he? That's the second game in a row that he's not really looked like he's going to score a goal. And that's a little bit worrying because, he's our main guy. He's the guy that carried us for a couple of seasons. We know he had a poor season last season. And this season's been a bit iffy. He's got 4 goals, but he's still not firing. He's still not firing like how we know Aubameyang could do. I did a fan cam yesterday and I said that I still would include him in the team. I still think it's wrong when fans are saying that, oh yeah, as soon as he got the money, that's nothing to do with that. You look at the guy's work rate, the way that guy is running around and putting his body on the line for the team. That is not someone who's just collecting a paycheck. But he's off form at the moment and we need to get him on form. Now, I'd play him in the Man United game. I'd still play him. I still think, if a chance falls to someone, I want it to fall to him. But he's under pressure, Lacazette has been playing well. And now Martinelli coming on and scoring that goal. This puts Aubameyang under pressure. He's got to start getting his act together soon, or you've got to make a change there. And, there's lots of talk about even come the end of the season what happens. We're definitely going to need to get a striker enough. I still think Arsenal, we don't score enough goals. So, but Aubameyang off form at the moment, and we really, really do need to get him back on form. And fifth thing I learnt was, Nuno Tavares, what a player. Nuno, great decision by Mikel Arteta yesterday to keep Nuno Tavares in the team. He's been playing really, really well since he's come into the team. But then he did have that game last week where he made a couple of errors. He made one big error that led to a goal, I felt a bit for him in that game because he had been actually defending quite well and playing quite well up against Salah. But then he just inexplicably made that ridiculous, just gave the ball away ridiculously. And that led to them getting the second goal. And basically that killed the game. And he took a lot of blame for it. Not severe blame off of the fans because we recognise that he's been playing well. And it would have been very easy for Mikel Arteta to have said, you know what, right, let me drop him and bring back in Kieran Tierney. That's what a lot of fans were even advocating before the game. But Mikel Arteta stuck with Nuno Tavares and he was rewarded because this guy was exceptional in the game. I made Saka my man of the match in my player ratings, but it could easily have been Nuno Tavares. He was brilliant. His driving runs, he terrorised the Newcastle defence. He really did. And defending, he done brilliantly as well. Remember what he was up against. He was up against Callum Wilson. He was up against, St. Maximin. Joe Linton, who's, maybe not clinical, but he's a handful, And he defended against those guys really, really well. He had an assist, which was a great little assist in Saka's goal. A really excellent performance by Nuno Tavares. It brings a big conundrum now for Mikel Arteta going into the next game against Manchester United. Do you keep Nuno in the team or do you bring back Kieran Tierney? I know he made that mistake against Liverpool, but for me, Nuno stays in. He stays in for that game. He will be, again, a handful for, any defence. Imagine him running at your Harry Maguires and people like that. So, great performance by Nuno. Overall, a very satisfying performance. It was very frustrating in the first half from Arsenal, but it got the job done in the second half. And these are games, I've seen them a million times at Arsenal. They're frustrating in the first half a lot of times because teams low blocks, well organised, and it's just having that craft and that guile to break those defences down. And Arsenal did that. And well done to them for the win. So those are the 5 things I learned. What else did you guys learn? I'd love to hear from you guys. Leave it in the comment section, the things that you learned. But overall, a satisfying win for Arsenal. And we move on now to Manchester United. And if we could get a win there, that would be huge.